Despite being nearly 9 months without any new trailers or screenshots and only 1/5 of the way through the delay period, there is one saving grace for us GTA fans right now, that 2026 has not disappointed so far when it comes to GTA 6 news. Within just 20 or so short days, we have had new leaks come out in court documents, a wholesome moment where Rockstar gave a fan GTA 6 before GTA 6, and Rockstar Games quite literally being on fire. So, in case you've missed it, this is all the GTA 6 news we've got already this month. And if you enjoyed the video, then consider subscribing. Let's start with the leaks. This is actually an update to a situation that originally came up at the end of last year that I even made a video on, and admittedly, I need to clarify some misunderstandings. In case you are completely out of the loop, in November of 2025, Rockstar laid off a bunch of employees in what was originally thought to be a case of union busting, which had the entire community up in arms and worried about the possible implications it could have on the development of GTA 6. However, I have to apologize to you guys, because it turns out that I may have jumped the gun on that conclusion, as it seems at this current moment, at least some of the employees may have been fired for somewhat valid reasons. Now, in no way do I think this applies to every worker who was laid off, as in some of the examples provided by People Make Games, a journalist covering this story in depth, the situation surrounding their terminations varies from worker to worker. But about a week ago, the ruling of these firings was taken to court between the IWGB, the union representing the fired workers, and Rockstar Games. During the court hearing, details of what was talked about within the Discord between the employees was made public, despite Rockstar wanting to keep them private for obvious reasons. And it turns out that Rockstar may not have been entirely wrong when they accused some of these developers of sharing confidential information, as they actually gave us a cryptic leak about GTA 6. It came out that the devs had been talking about an online test that had taken place between multiple of Rockstar studios and hinted at 32 players being allowed within an online lobby. The messages read, "They mentioned the large session we did today being too difficult to do, but that was 32 players. Not sure how that was difficult." Another dev then responded to that message saying, "Sounds like you have multiple studios of QA testers. Surely someone can manage to organize a 32-player session and let people have their time off." Now, while we don't know the full context of this message's history, it is actually very interesting for a few reasons. For one, the messages make it sound like the maximum for an online session currently is only 32 players, which doesn't seem like a lot due to that already being the maximum in the current GTA Online. But two, is because we have no idea if this includes the use of the new map patent that Rockstar has for online games. We've gone over in previous videos that one of Rockstar's new patents allows them to split the entire map into multiple different online sessions, essentially creating multiple sessions for different sections of the map with seamless transitioning between each other. This is identical to the system they used for Red Dead Redemption 2 and has been used in other games like The Crew and Forza Horizon. This is why, to me, it makes it sound like the maximum for online currently is only 32 players, especially when you consider the devs saying they had difficulties even with this few people. Now obviously I don't know this for sure, but let's say that it is 32 players. I would actually be pretty disappointed about this, as I was hoping that online lobbies would be a lot bigger than they are now, especially when you consider how much bigger GTA 6's map is compared to what we have now. However, part of me also has a really hard time believing that the maximum will be 32 players given on what we've seen with 5M. We obviously know that Rockstar has acquired CFX, and using their OneSync technology, they're able to hold over 2,000 players on one server. So the idea of them struggling with 32 players right now seems like a problem that they will be able to fix by launch. But again, I am purely speculating on that. Obviously, I don't want to say that any of this is definitive, of course, as we are still months away from release, but it was at least a frankly shocking discovery to the community that has caused a lot of debates online. But In other good news for Rockstar, however, they have actually done something that has added a lot of wholesomeness to this frankly tense pre-release. Anthony Armstrong, a developer at Ubisoft Toronto, which is actually just a short drive from where I live, made a post on LinkedIn describing how, unfortunately, one of their family members was currently dealing with terminal cancer and was recently given about 6 to 12 months of life left to live. He detailed how his family member was a huge GTA fan, and so he tried reaching out to any connections he had at Rockstar Games to try and find a way to allow his family member to possibly play GTA 6 before he unfortunately passes. And while we don't know all of the details, it does seem like Rockstar got back to him with some good news. Anthony went on to make an update to his post that read, "We spoke to them today and got great news. That's all I can really say, but thank you all from the bottom of my heart." Anthony would then go on to delete the original LinkedIn post, and many people attribute him doing this to now being under an NDA from Rockstar, which leads to the conclusion that his family member will be able to play GTA 6 early. This was just a really wholesome story to read that, after a lot of bad press around Rockstar recently with delays and the fired workers situation, was definitely nice to see. It's very unlikely we will get any updates to this situation due to most likely being under an NDA, but even Complex reached out to Rockstar and they didn't want to comment on this situation, which means they're not trying to just do this for some good publicity. Don't get me wrong, corporate Rockstar definitely has a pretty tarnished image at this point, but I genuinely think they just wanted to give this man a once-in-a-lifetime experience as a big fan of theirs to play this monumental game before he eventually passes on. And I think that's a really nice thing that they didn't have to do but decided to anyway. There are even reports that Strauss Zelnick reached out to the family personally, so I definitely think commendation for this situation is due, and I wish Anthony's family member to get the most of the time that he has left, and I'm praying for him and his family in this situation that you never want to hear about from anyone. But while we just had a very wholesome part of the video, let's get back to the bad. It came out earlier this week that Rockstar North fucking exploded. Well, that's not true, but according to Mr. Boss it is, so it must be right. In all seriousness, Rockstar North dealt with a pretty bizarre and worrying situation this week. At approximately 5:02 a.m. on January 19th, fire services were called to the headquarters of Rockstar Games for a fire that had occurred in their boiler room. After fire crews assessed and dealt with the situation for roughly 4 hours, it was determined that a boiler had exploded in the studio and started a fire, which even reportedly caused structural damage to the building. Now, luckily, there were no reported injuries or casualties that resulted from the fire. The main Rockstar studio was then taped off with people not being able to return to work for a bit while investigators figured out what the cause of the explosion was. This had a lot of people worried about further delays to the game while people weren't able to work, completely forgetting that there are like 7,000 other studios also working on this game right now. But either way, a statement from a Rockstar developer reassured fans that this incident had no effect on their work for GTA 6 and the studio was still in high spirits. Their statement read, "Many thanks to those that reached out with concern and also to the police and fire crews who were on the scene quickly to assess the situation. Everyone is well and our studio remains open and operational." And while that situation at the Rockstar studio was really bad, the only good thing that came from this situation is that it became incredibly easy to see who is a reliable GTA creator in the community and who isn't. Because holy shit, some of the videos being made on this situation were diabolical. GTA 6 is delayed again after explosion. Massive explosion destroys Rockstar's main office. Rockstar Games office explodes. Okay, let me be very clear with this. A boiler exploded, not the actual office. And 2, GTA 6 is not delayed. Now, that should be obvious to anyone that has an IQ of over 45, but in all seriousness, these videos got a lot of backlash from people in our community like The Professional and Luke Stevens, and rightfully so. Honestly, if you are looking for the most up-to-date news, just go to r/GTA6 instead, because the community over there seems to always get the news first and is accurate for the most part. But that's everything that's come up within just these last 20 days or so with news on GTA 6. And again, if you do enjoy news roundup videos like this, then please consider liking the video and even subscribing, as we are trying to hit 100k before GTA 6 comes out. I hope y'all have a great day, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.